There are days that feel ordinary from the moment they begin, yet destiny has already decided to twist them into something unforgettable. On a bright weekday morning in downtown Chicago, powerful CEO Harrison Vail believed he was untouchable. Known for his unmatched ruthlessness in the corporate world and his cold indifference toward those beneath him, he sat in the back of his luxury car as it cut through the city streets. His phone buzzed with reminders of meetings, lawsuits, hostile takeovers, and everything else he thought made him important. He had built himself into a towering figure, feared and respected, a man who believed softness was weakness. What he did not know was that this very day would dismantle everything he thought he understood about power, strength, and humanity. It would begin with a scream, his own. If you believe in kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal so we can spread more kindness in this world together. The morning traffic was unusually heavy. His driver took a turn down a narrow road to save time, a shortcut rarely used by people with privilege. Harrison was irritated, flipping through pages of a contract that would destroy hundreds of jobs. People were numbers to him, nothing more. That was when a truck screeched into the street. The car jerked, metal collided, and glass shattered. Harrison felt his body thrown sideways before everything turned painfully still. His lungs refused to work. A ringing pierced his ears. When consciousness returned, fear arrived with it. He tried to move his legs, but they did not respond. Panic flooded him. His driver was unconscious. Smoke filled the air. Fire crackled beneath the hood. For the first time in decades, Harrison felt helpless. A world built on control now held him captive. He shouted for help, but his voice cracked with desperation. Minutes felt like hours until the back door was forced open with pure strength. A shadowy figure reached inside, grabbing him beneath the arms and dragging his trembling body into the sunlight. The heat from the burning car roared louder. Harrison was laid gently against a sidewalk curb. His legs twisted in unnatural angles. He felt a terror he had never known. His heart hammered as the man leaned near him. He wore faded jeans, a scuffed work jacket, and had dark circles under his eyes that hinted at sleepless nights and hardships. Harrison trembled and pleaded inside his mind, "Please do not hurt me. I cannot walk. I cannot run. Please do not leave me here." Yet the man did not speak at first. He simply scanned Harrison's injuries with an intensity that did not match his modest appearance. He moved with purpose, improvising a splint from broken debris and a torn piece of his own jacket. He worked like someone who had done this many times before. Harrison did not understand. Sirens wailed in the distance. Relief fluttered in Harrison's chest. The man who had rescued him stood up slowly, breathing heavily, as if carrying a weight much heavier than Harrison's body. Harrison watched him with fear and wonder. Why had this stranger risked everything to save him when no one else had come? The days that followed inside the hospital were filled with surgeries, pain, and stillness. Harrison Vail, the man who never took a sick day, was trapped in a wheelchair. His empire still ran without him, but his importance suddenly felt questionable. He remembered the man who saved him. He wanted to thank him, or at least understand him. The news reported the accident, but never mentioned a hero. The stranger had quietly vanished. Weeks later, when he was discharged and confined to a wheelchair with a long road to recovery ahead, Harrison returned to his office building. His employees stared at him differently. Pity replaced fear. That hurt more than the shattered bones. He overheard whispers that he was finished, that his company needed a stronger leader. No one believed he could command a boardroom anymore if he could not even stand. The world that once trembled in his presence now brushed him aside. A company-wide event approached, the launch of a new branch in a rough neighborhood which Harrison pushed purely for profit. Security was heavy, though Harrison rarely cared about safety beyond his own stock value. He arrived at the event tired, frustrated, and angry at a life that had stripped him of control. Crowds gathered as speeches were spoken and cameras flashed. Harrison felt like a prop rather than a leader. Then the power went out, lights crashed into darkness, panic rose in chaotic waves, people screamed. In a moment that echoed his accident, Harrison's heart froze. He again could not escape. No control. No protection, only fear. He heard footsteps rushing toward him. This time he cried out loud, "Please do not hurt me. I cannot walk. I cannot do anything." The words escaped him broken and raw. A spotlight from a phone flicked on. The face illuminated in front of him was the same one that had pulled him from the wreck. The man from the accident. His fear shifted to confusion. The stranger knelt beside him. Harrison's voice trembled as he asked why he had helped him. The man finally answered. His name was Miguel Reyes. He was a single father, raising a little girl named Alma after his wife passed away. He had been in the military, serving as a combat medic. That explained his skills at the crash scene. What he did not say immediately was why he disappeared afterward. He confessed he feared people like Harrison. He feared that the system Harrison represented had already crushed too many lives without care, including his own stability and his daughter's future. Miguel did not want a reward. He did not trust power. He simply saw a human being in danger and acted on his instinct to help. Harrison listened, and something inside him cracked wide open. Shame mixed with gratitude. Harrison invited him to his office the next day, though Miguel remained skeptical. Returning would not magically solve the struggles that shaped his life. The following day, when Miguel arrived, he found Harrison waiting, determined to sit upright despite constant pain. Harrison asked about Miguel's life with genuine curiosity, something he had never done for anyone outside his social circle. Miguel spoke about long night shifts fixing machines in a factory, barely making enough to afford his daughter's school supplies. He spoke about his wife, the woman who once brought light into every room until illness took her too soon. He spoke about Alma, the brightest reason he had to keep going. Listening to Miguel was like looking into a mirror Harrison had never dared to face. He realized he had lived decades without truly seeing anyone. He had money but no bonds, success but no purpose, power but no heart. Harrison offered Miguel a position in the company that involved supporting community medical initiatives, using Miguel's background to change lives. Miguel hesitated, questioning Harrison's sincerity. Harrison admitted he did not know much about kindness, but he was ready to learn. Miguel accepted, not for Harrison, but for Alma, and for the people who needed helping hands more than empty speeches. As weeks passed, Harrison saw Miguel working tirelessly in neighborhoods the company once ignored. Clinics opened, job training programs formed. Kids who believed no one cared suddenly had someone cheering for their future. Miguel became a symbol of real change, and Harrison found meaning through supporting him. The more Harrison gave, the more whole he felt. His physical therapy was slow and painful. He stumbled often. Miguel pushed his wheelchair sometimes, yet never made him feel weak. They became unlikely friends who grew stronger together. Miguel spoke of grief and endurance. Harrison spoke of redemption and regret. Each day Harrison felt a little more alive, not because his legs healed quickly, but because his heart finally did. One sunny afternoon at a community event, Alma ran up to Harrison with a drawing she made. It showed him standing tall, not bent and broken. She told him she believed he would walk again. Her small hope felt like a promise. Harrison trained harder after that. Every step taken with crutches was a battle, but he no longer feared the fight. His company changed under his influence: fair wages, mental health support, policies favoring humanity instead of greed. Investors frowned at the reduced profits, but Harrison smiled at the growing goodness. Months later, during another company ceremony where the ribbon would be cut by those served by the initiative instead of wealthy executives, Harrison decided he would try something brave. With Miguel at his side holding his arm for balance, Harrison stood from his wheelchair. The crowd gasped. Cameras rolled. He took several shaky steps toward the podium. The path felt longer than any road he had traveled, yet those steps were worth more than every fortune he ever earned. He addressed the crowd with his voice cracking from emotion. He thanked Miguel. He acknowledged Alma. He admitted his past failures and promised a future filled with compassion. The applause felt like thunder. Miguel placed a hand on his shoulder, and for the first time in his life, Harrison did not feel alone. If this story touched your heart or reminded you that kindness can change the world, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Journal, and share it so others may feel what you felt right now. Please take a moment to comment what kindness means to you, because your words could inspire someone who needs it today. The sun lit the sky as the celebration continued, bright, warm, and full of renewed hope. Harrison looked at Miguel and Alma laughing together and understood that true power was not domination. It was connection. It was lifting others even while you struggled yourself. It was choosing grace when fear tempted cruelty. He realized success is empty without someone to share it with. That day became the first chapter of a new life, one that promised second chances and healing for many. Harrison vowed to keep walking, one grateful step at a time, guided by the kindness he almost never knew.